Today we are going to be talking about the 2024 Fantasy Bingo board. I'm sure you've seen it everywhere in your sub feed. It's been everywhere in mine, which is why I'm here right now, because of the FOMO. I've actually never done the r/fantasy bingo because I've never been an organized person. I'm still not. But I'm trying to change that a little bit, and I've been keeping track of my own book reading and stats and my own bingo that I've been running on my Patreon. So I thought, hey, what's one more? So I want to fill out this bingo board, or at least rather, I want to plan out this bingo board. What I'm going to do is we're going to look at the prompts. I haven't looked at them yet, so we're going to look at them together for the first time. We're going to look at them for the first time together, first time for me. And I'm going to look at my plans, because I've already planned out my TBR for the next like 3 months. Loosely, things might move around, and I will see what I can grab from there, see what I can consider for what my TBR will be, and then spaces that still need to be filled in. Maybe you could help me give me suggestions for the spaces that are empty at the end of this video. I would greatly appreciate that. So I have just read over the rules, and it says that this lasts from April 1 to March 31, so it's not a calendar year. So it's begun at the beginning of this month, which means that I can pull books from this month to slot into this bingo card. Also, I'm only allowed to use an author once per card, which is a little bit rough because I do have my favorite authors, but it's going to be totally fine. I can only use a book one time per one square, one book. I can only use a book one time on the bingo board, which is very reasonable, and only one square can be a reread, which is fine. I love a good reread, but I don't do it constantly. And I can also substitute one square from a previous r/fantasy board. I'm going to try not to do that because I'm not familiar with the other boards and I feel like that would take a long time, but if I'm in a bind, I will do it. And I'm not even going to look at hard mode and hero mode because I'm just at the beginning of my personal character arc for organization. Okay, the first space on the bingo card is the first in a series. Oh, okay, well, I mean, I'm about to start one. Oh, well, I forgot I can. Actually, what I'll do is I will come back to this prompt because since I can't reuse an author, I might need the book that I'm about to start for something else. So, prompt number 2 is an alliterative title. So, words that are the words legends and lattes. There, boom. I've explained it well. Okay, I'm currently reading and will be finishing probably today. I don't know if it'll show up in a reading vlog. You probably will have to wait to the wrap up to see it because I don't actually like it very much. But I'm currently reading Son of a Sailor, so I'm just gonna put that in there. Boom. 1 slot filled. We're doing great. Next we have Under the Surface, which is a book where a significant and important location is either under the ground or under the water. So a new release that I plan on starting very soon is A Letter to the Luminous Deep. It's a romance. I expect to not really like it very much, but I really want to try it because it takes place underwater. Why are you not accept the photo? There we go. But I really want to try it. And it's not super long. I think it's partially epistolary. It hasn't been released yet at the time that I'm filming this. But I do plan on reading it, so it'll work for the prompt. Next prompt is criminals. One of the main characters has to be a thief, assassin, criminal. Not the good guy. So I have Spider Key on my TBR, which is the sequel to The Wickwire Watch. And I think that would probably fit. Anyone who's read that can let me know what you think. But it is a group of outlaws, a group of outcasts. I think it should fit. You can let me know if you disagree, and I will replace it with something else if you think that wouldn't work. I'm going to use Spider Key for now. Assassin books are not difficult to come by, so I will replace it if you think that that doesn't suit. Next we have Dreams. Read a book where the character experiences dreams, visions, things of that nature. That's hard to know without having read the book yet. I think I'm gonna have to hold off on that one, and I'll just have to wait until I read something and that pops up, and then I'll just slot it in. Entitled Animals. Read a book with an animal in the title. Do you think Toll the Hounds would count for this? I'm gonna slot it in, and again, you tell me if you think that's wrong. I haven't actually read it yet, but I assume hounds are an actual animal that appear in the book. The cover certainly indicates that they are. For bards, it has to have a main character that's a bard, musician, storyteller, Name of the Wind type of book. And that is tricky for me because I don't typically read books from that perspective. So I may need recommendations on that one. Prologues and epilogues, a book that has both? Oh, either or. Okay, a book that has a prologue or an epilogue. If Toll the Hounds doesn't work in the slot that I put it in, then I'll put it there. And if not, then I'll just wait until I have a book that has a prologue or an epilogue. Those aren't hard to come by. Self-published or indie publisher. I am about to read The Witchwood Knot. I'm about to read The Witchwood Knot. So that should fit there perfectly. If it'll actually do it. What is happening? Oh, perfect. Next slot is Romantasy, and I will be reading the book Bride very soon for the book club that I just started up with my friend Amber Elise, where she picks a book 1 month and then I pick a book 1 month, and we have opposite tastes. That's why the book club is called Opposites Attract. The book club is called Opposites Attract. So she picks, for instance, she picked A Court of Mist and Fury for her first book, and I picked Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy for my first book. And then she picked Bride for her next one, and I'm picking Annihilation for my next one. And we're reading books. It's super fun. So I have it. Romantasy. Boom. Dark Academia. I'm going to have a think about that one because I don't read a lot of Dark Academia. I think in 2023, the only one I read was that one. M.L. Wang's book that she put out last year. That's the one that I read. Multi-POV, that'll be an easy one. I know Silver Blood Promise is multiple POV. So I will just use that one for now. And then if I need to use it for something else, then I'll grab something else because those are not hard to come by. Published in 2024. I have loads of those that I'm reading as well. I haven't used Last Spy Hunter yet. Currently reading this, currently loving it, and, oh, get in there. Character with a disability, I'll have to have a think on that one. I am reading another Daphne du Maurier book. I'm reading The King's General. I can't remember if that one is the one with the main character with a disability. I'll have to, I'm not reading it right now, but I'm gonna read it next month. So I'll have to read that and see. But I'm sure I'll come across a book that will have that, and I can just slot it in when that time comes. Published in the 90s? Ha! I found one! Finally! That was so much harder than I thought it would be. The Fifth Elephant by Terry Pratchett was written in 1999. Actually, now that I think of it, I'm currently reading Jingo. And I bet that, too, was published in the 90s. It doesn't matter. I'm going to read The Fifth Elephant, so got it. I'm just going to put it in there. Orcs, Trolls, and Goblins, oh my. Oh, no. I don't read a lot of Orcs, Trolls, and Goblins fantasy. I may have to wait on that one. That one may have to be something that we'll see if it comes up. Or if you have a good recommendation, like one that you really think I would like, then go ahead in the comments. Space opera. I've been reading a lot of sci-fi lately, but I don't reach for space opera. I'm reading a Vandermeer. Well, I'm about to start a Vandermeer. I'm going to be reading Roadside Picnic soon, and there's a couple of modern sci-fis, like robot sci-fis, that I'm going to be reading really soon here, but space opera, I just don't, it's not my go-to. I may need a recommendation for that as well, just not something crazy long, please, because it's not my preferred kind of sci-fi, so something a little bit more condensed would be awesome. Author of color, speaking of sci-fi that I'm about to read, I am reading Remote Control next month. Survival. I love a good survival nonfiction, but I have been, it's like I read The Wager recently, and there were a couple of other ones that I read, like Endurance, that I loved so much, but then I've been picking up more lately that have kind of just been okay or a total miss. So like I just DNF'd one that everybody, there were a few of us reading it and none of us were enjoying it. And I can read a survival fiction as well. I just really like survival nonfictions, but please recommend me a good survival nonfiction. I would just love to get a really, really good one because I've had a couple duds. Judge a book by the cover? I do this constantly. What do you mean? This is like my favorite hobby. That's what I did with The Last Spy Hunter, but that's already on my list. I'm gonna go with It Was in the Forest because this is a book that I really, really want to read, and I know that the cover has a lot to do with it. I mean, I love jungle books, I love island books, I love a lot of what this book says that it's doing, but it's also middle grade, which is outside of what I typically read, but every time I go to take it off, just accept your spot on, there we go. Every time I go to take it off my TBR, I look at the cover because I have very visual TBRs. I make graphics for my next several months that I plan to read, and every time I go to take it off the TBR to make space for something else, I look at the cover and I'm like, I can't. I have to at least try it. So that one definitely fits. Set in a small town. That's another thing that I love. I love a small town setting, but I rarely know enough about a book going into it to know if it'll fit that. So what's gonna work? There's a couple books on my TBR that very likely will fit, but I'm just not gonna know until I read them. So I'm gonna leave that one open. I'm sure it'll be easy to fill. 5 short stories. Okay. I could finish reading Tim's book. I just finished recording the audiobook for my short stories that I'm narrating for his short story collection, but I haven't yet read the short stories that I'm not narrating. So I could go through, and which I planned on finishing this anyway, I could just go through and read the short stories that I didn't narrate and count that. I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to use Tim's book, although I have an Abercrombie short story collection that I really want to read, and I have a Vandermeer short story collection that I want to read, but I'm going to read my friend's book. That reminds me! Abercrombie has The Devils coming out. Oh no, it comes out in 2025. That can't go on the bingo board. Oh shucks, I just got so excited. Eldritch Creatures. Sweet! Born. I'm about to read that. I am almost positive Born is described as having an Eldritch creature. At least one. So, Vandermeer on the list. I've been holding out because I also have his Mushroom trilogy that I plan on reading really soon. So I knew he needed to be on here somewhere, but I was waiting because I was going to put, hey, you're not slotted in. I was going to put Born in the first in the series spot, but I wanted to hold out. I wanted to see. So super excited. That works perfectly. Reference materials. Oh, okay. I just read the note on the r/fantasy, and it said that it needs to have additional material like a map, footnotes. They listed so many things and I've already forgotten what I just read. A map. That's gonna be okay. That's easy. I already used a Discworld book, and I already used a Vandermeer book because I know the Mushroom trilogy would work for that as far as like not map stuff. And then as far as maps go, most fantasy books. Oh, I'll use the Ivory. I'll use a Temeraire book. I'm pretty sure every Temeraire book has a map to it, so that fits quite nicely. Book club or read-along book? Well, I mean, Bride would fit for that, but I can choose my reread of Annihilation because it's a reread, which is I'm allowed one, and that's going to be our book club pick. Or what are we reading? Oh, Hitchhikers. I could choose Hitchhikers because I am going to reread that for the book club as well, the Opposites Attract book club. So which one should I put? Oh, I already have Vandermeer in the list, so we're gonna do Hitchhikers. Why did I have to grab that off the shelf? We're not doing that in this video. Okay, so now I need to go back through and fill in any spots that could have already been filled in and I was holding off on, like first in the series. Now I can fill that in. Okay, I have a couple that I can fill in here. So the Dita Paxenarian is something that I read at the beginning of April, so that fits in the first of the series. That's already checked off and done. Also, the group of people that I've been reading The Lies of Locke Lamora, or the Gentleman Bastards series with, Ben and Grace and Bryce, we have decided we're going to do a discussion on Joe Abercrombie, or sure, on the First Law, the Age of Madness trilogy, golly gee, because all three of them have just read it, so we're going to do a discussion on that at some point soon, hopefully. And then after that, we're planning on reading The Lions of Al-Rasan together. So I think that might fit under criminal. I like to think. I wonder if that will fit, if there's a Oh, I already filled the criminal. Okay, well then I'll just put it under prologues and epilogues because I'm pretty sure this one will have one of those two. Anyone that's read it can clarify for me in the comments if you want to. So now I still need a recommendation for a book with dreams in the character that has dreams. An author that isn't already on this list. A book with dreams. A book told by a songwriter, a storyteller, a musician. Dark Academia book, that's going to be rough for me because I really don't read a lot of Dark Academia. Character with a disability, orcs, trolls, goblins, oh my, space opera, survival, please make it nonfiction and one that you've read preferably and think I would like, and then set in a small town. Always looking for recommendations for that. So those are the spots that I still need to fill. And when I do my quarterly check-in videos, I can just also check in on how this bingo board is going, what books I've read, what spots I've filled. But this is my TBR for it. And I'll just rely on y'all to help me fill a couple more spots. But there you go. That's my 2024 r/fantasy bingo board. This is the first time that I'm going to be participating in this, and I think I have a pretty good, it looks like within the next 3-4 months, I should have most of the board already done. So that would be killer if I could get it done far in advance. So help me out with that for the spots that I don't have filled yet. Are you participating? Are you going to participate? I would love to hear. Thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Bye.